large banks, Amazon, for shopping experience, maybe like even, large like grocery supply chains, that sort of stuff.
How can I make my products, and in some case services, more accessible to people on mobile devices?
Probably more for the smaller mom and pops or even just second tier retail.
This pressure to try to compete with Amazon, right?
Trends in retail technology. So we've obviously heard about e-commerce for a really long time. It's just something that's been around, in the verbiage when you're building applications or even going to set up a storefront of some sort online. But there's this term that we're going to start off basically M-commerce, okay? And so we'll talk about kind of retail technology, how it's changing, and some main trends, but I think there's 5, and starting with M-commerce. I think this is a subdivision or just kind of another kind of lane of running and thinking of e-commerce, which is really talking about the idea of having like, a mobile conference type of a setup or a commerce type of a setup. So the application on your phone where you can basically go through the experience as opposed to many years ago, I think when e-commerce first started, it was all computer-based. But now everything is so mobile and we're used to having storefronts on our phones and we're dealing with them in that space. And we've done for so long with Amazon, but we're starting to feel a press in retail, probably more for the smaller mom and pops or even just second tier retail places. They are also feeling a push that, man, I have to have a M-commerce experience. I have to have an app for my users. What do you think? You feeling that? You seeing that when we're talking with customers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mobile commerce is a thing. And I think under mobile commerce also falls, like mobile banking falls under there, mobile payments, right? A lot of people using Venmo and things like that. So there's a lot of like just mobile commerce that's going on. But definitely more this pressure to try to compete with Amazon, right? People want to, obviously you can't compete with Amazon, but people are used to buying things on their phone and, shopping for clothing on their phone, buying, beauty products or candles or whatever it might be. People a lot of times want to do that on their phone. They don't want to go to a desktop to do that, or maybe not even a tablet in many cases.
Sure.
I know I shop on my phone quite a bit. So yes, definitely there's this push to have, how can I make my products, and in some case services, more accessible to people on mobile devices.
Yeah.
So when they're on the go, when they're sitting on the toilet, whatever that, that moment they have, that small period of time that they have, how they're probably going to be on their phone, and how can I be there to sell them?
Keep their product in front of them. How can I sell? And it's for any vertical, like you said. So it's coming primarily. It all started with large banks, Amazon, for shopping experience, maybe like even, large like grocery supply chains, that sort of stuff. And then over time, it's evolved into the smaller, I'm the local credit union. I want to be able to compete with Chase Bank and Bank of America, who already have this, mobile experience. Well, we need a mobile app also. Or we are the local grocer that wants to compete with Save Mart or Vons, whatever it is. Well, we should have a mobile shopping experience as well. And it's only through this experience that I think a lot of these companies are going to continue to exist moving forward.
Yeah. Well, and there's a big tie just into social media too with it. So there's you're on Instagram, you see the purse that this person has, and then there's a tie-in where I can actually click on that and then go to the shop and buy it. Right? So tying that into, and I'm looking at Instagram on my phone in most cases. So so definitely e-commerce kind of weaves its way into all the different social platforms, just all the different content we're digesting on our phone. Oftentimes there's someone there trying to sell us something.
Totally. I keep going back to Amazon because it's the experience that we all know so much. They're just so prevalent in society, even in the last few years. There's a very clear experience that you get when you jump on Amazon. You pull up these product lists, you're searching, you pull up all these products. They have these detailed descriptions. You're buying, putting stuff in your cart. It ships. You're doing like touchless payments, all this kind of stuff. And then you're getting tracking information along the way, and all of that is generally, it is controlled by some kind of an ERP software on the back end. It's actually integrated into Amazon. It's managing all this kind of stuff. It's helping automate a lot of these sales process and the feedback to you as the customer. And I think this is something that we're starting to see more and more needing to get integrated in across all these verticals and these technologies. It's not just Amazon anymore that needs to have an ERP application. it's the local, shop down the corner that sells dresses that's like, man, I want to have that experience for my customers as well.
Right.
So
that makes sense. Yeah, no, the integration and tie-in makes a lot of sense because, right, with ERP is a very broad term, and so it touches all these different aspects of our business, and so being able to integrate it integration is always such a benefit because of eliminating manual processes. So I really see the value in that.
Agreed. What else? What do you think is another thing that's important?
Well, cashierless shopping is certainly a thing.
Definitely,
you could look at like. Probably the more like flashy fun example is the Amazon Go stores. There's, I think, 4 of them in San Francisco at the time of filming this video. But you can walk in there, you can scan your. I was actually just looking at it before I came over here. You can scan your mobile app. You can insert your card tied to an Amazon account, or they even have one where you can just put your palm up to it, and it apparently scans your palm, and you've registered that ahead of time. Do all your shopping. And then as you just walk out the door, I say without paying. You still pay, but they just
nothing in life is free.
They just bill your Amazon account, right?
Right.
And so it's such a like low friction way of shopping.
Yeah.
That's really like fun. I haven't had the pleasure of going to one yet, but I've watched the videos and stuff like that. And so it's a really cool idea that I hope takes off more.
I know they're doing it at Sam's Club. Some Sam Club locations are starting to pilot that. So we're even seeing now our Costco's and our Sam Clubs and our large big box stores being like, come in, grab the go-kart and the 7-pack of strawberries and just walk out of the store and you're good, and it's all paid for, which is pretty wild to think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though. I definitely hope that takes off.
I agree, yeah.
And then I think the more common one people see is self-service kiosks, right?
Sure.
So, or self-checkouts, probably another good example. I feel like we may be getting a little away from mobile commerce, but the idea is that, because it's not mobile, right?
Sure.
But the idea is that you've got this cashierless experience, which is very closely related to mobile commerce, where I'm not dealing with a person, I'm getting all my products, and as long as they don't have alcohol in my cart, I can check myself out, or I don't know. I mean, kiosks are all over the place, so you can make your own keys with them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It's crazy. Yeah. You used to have to go to the local hardware store, and now it's like you can go to a grocery store or the hardware store or the big box store, wherever, and there's going to be a machine there that you just pop your key in, copies the key, and spits one out for you, and it's just crazy like that. But I was even thinking more recently with, cashierless shopping and how this even ties back into the mobile experience. There are lots of kiosks out there that, allow you to scan a code and then have an actual mobile style experience on your phone. So not only are you not dealing with a human, it's cashierless, it's all automated, but you're now putting human interaction into it and not even using the kiosk anymore. You're doing these inputs on your phone, and you're, again, back to that mobile first experience, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I think that was a push from the pandemic and all that to like, well, I don't even want to touch the kiosk. How can I just touch my phone? And so, like you said, I mean, I've seen ones where you scan a code and I can literally control the kiosk from my phone, so I'm not touching it at all.
Yeah, which is pretty wild. So all these kind of experimental, kind of shopping type stuff is happening on mobile, it's happening online. But yeah, I think a big trend in retail right now is experimental kind of online shopping kind of experiences. So things where you're integrating maybe a sales bot of some sort. So, again, we're stepping away from the human interaction a little bit, which some people can say is good or bad, but, we're leveraging technologies on the back to do, obviously we've seen for a long time, you're looking at this, well, here's a similar related item. Or even a bot popping up and saying, hey, we noticed that you've been scanning on this for this long. Are you interested in this particular item? You know that this item is on sale. And actually starting to automate and walk through some of these online shopping experiences is something that helps just move your product as the actual company forward to the forefront of the customer, and then hopefully engage with it in another way that they would not be able to engage by just organically finding it. You're starting to actually leverage some of these technologies to actually try out experimental type things. And I think a big thing that's really great with a lot of these mobile apps, I even know from doing the whole like ship a box to you with clothes kind of thing, you can save sizes on there. You can start to put in information about clothes that you like and you don't like, and it starts to build out these profiles for you. And you're getting a very tailored experience when you're shopping online, as opposed to just walking into the store and being like, okay, I gotta walk to the section that I like, or look for, it's just there. You literally pop open your app and it's the section that you want because they know you already.
Yeah. How would you say that AI is being leveraged in the supply chain?
So AI in the supply chain is an interesting thing, because I don't think this is for necessarily like, the small mom and pop type stores that I keep talking about, but it is actually, affecting them in a way, because the overall supply chain has just changed so much in the last few years with a pandemic. We had the boat and the canal, there's all these things that kind of happen that have started to affect the supply chain. And overall, AI is being leveraged now against that supply chain to start and help avoid these kind of issues in the future. They're using technology, and AI type algorithms to start to, track shipments better, and to see what the product looks like, what's the backflow of component pieces used to build these computers, so on and so forth. And leveraging AI has become so important to actually keep, I think, the supply chain moving in the last few years, because without it, it really would have ground to a halt even more than it already has. And I think we've learned some stuff, and that's not going to change moving forward. We are, I think, going to continue to leverage, AI on the supply chain, as we just try and figure out other ways to leverage it overall. AI is not going anywhere, and it's basically helped keep food and, on the table and products on people's shelves, which is pretty cool.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Bixley Tech Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Chris and Andrew, as they told you all about 5 different trends that we're seeing in the retail vertical with technology. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comment section and we'll get right back to you. And don't forget to check out the description box down below. We have a bunch of really helpful links for you. And in particular, I want to highlight our free DevOps guide. It has a bunch of great information if you're interested in a DevOps implementation. And of course, check us out online, Bixley.com. It's a great place to learn about all of the different services that we have, including a free 60-minute call with Chris. All you have to do is hit that button right at the top that says, Start My Project Roadmap. Until next time, this has been an episode of Bixley Tech Tuesday.